that we go into budget session. Get a move.
So moved.
Been moved in second, that we go into, budget session. All in favor?
We also get approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Been moved in second, we approve the agenda. as submitted. All in favor? Roll vote.
Mr. Caldwell, Mr. Kane, Mr. Burke.
Aye.
This evening, we will begin review of the proposed FY22 budget. At our last meeting, you were all given the supplemental information along with budgetary reports for Fund 1, the General Fund, also Fund 8, the Transportation Fund, Fund 10, the Fund for Greensville Volunteer Fire Department, and Fund 17, Solid Waste Enterprise Fund. I hope you've had time to look through the information. That way we will have to go into as much detail today if you are familiar with it. In your supplemental information book, there is a table of contents which lays out the order of the book to make it easy for you all to find the information as we work through the departments. Of course, you have the budget calendar, which was approved at the last meeting. Behind that, you have departmental notes, which is a breakdown of everything that was received from each department head or community organization, laying out and documenting their request for funding in the upcoming year. The green tab behind that is a budget summary based on the information on hand at that point in time. And today, we have been given the information which goes behind tab 4, capital improvements. Your capital improvements information is also to be found on your desk there in front of you. We will start with reviewing the departmental budgets, and we will work from the reports, the budgetary reports that you have in your binder book. I'm going to start with the expenditures. These are expenditures for Fund 1. They're clearly labeled in your book. And as you see, page 1 begins with Board of Supervisors. The current budgeted amount for Board of Supervisors in this FY21 year is $301,462. There is a request for FY22 in the amount of $187,011. As you can see, this is a reduction in the amount for the Board of Supervisors. That's mainly due to the reduction for professional services. Under administration, the current budgeted amount is $593,320. The requested amount is $743,539. This is an increase of $150,219, about a 25% increase. That also includes, one reason for that increase, of course, is the inclusion of one additional employee. And of course, it goes without saying that printers also increase along with the salary that is being budgeted. The next department is county attorney. The current budget amount is $91,075. The request for the upcoming year is $105,975. That is a slight increase there. Commissioner of Revenue. We have a current budgeted amount of $326,731. Budget, the current request is for $393,021, an increase of $66,280, about a 20% increase overall. The Commissioner has requested one additional full-time employee. There is no money budgeted in the upcoming year or requested for reassessment since that process is over and done with. The treasurer, we have $340,679 in the current fiscal year as a budgeted amount. The request for the upcoming year is $359,680, a $19,001 increase, about 5.5%. Finance. Current year budgeted amount is $342,482. The request is for $370,839, a $28,357 increase, which calculates out to be about 8.2%. Under information technology, we have a current budgeted amount of $198,148. The request is for $180,780. That's a $17,440 decrease, about 8%. The electoral board, the budgeted amount for this year is $147,468. We have a request that totals $189,723. That's an overall increase of $42,255, about 28%. It does include one additional full-time employee. Circuit Court, currently they're budgeted at $98,984. The request is for $94,268, a decrease of about 4.7%. General District Court is budgeted in FY21, $46,932. Their request totals $31,950 for the upcoming fiscal year, $14,000 increase, about 31% less. The magistrate is currently budgeted at $3,787. Their request for the upcoming year is $2,347, about a 38% increase, $1,440. The clerk's office, current budgeted amount is $440,013. The request is for $453,373. That is an increase of $13,360, or the equivalent of 3% increase. Court security, the current budgeted amount is $207,578. Their request is for $245,659. That's an increase of $38,081, and an equates to an 18.3% increase. Under the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, their current budgeted amount is $820,231. The request is for $759,034. That's a decrease of $61,197, or 7.5%. Under highway safety, we have budgeted currently $394,420. The request for the upcoming year is $395,335, slight increase of $915, or a 0.231% increase. Sheriff's Office is currently budgeted at $2,804,890. Their request is for $2,930,591. That's a $125,701 increase, or 4.48%. School resource officer is currently budgeted at $198,715. Their request is for $207,689. It's about $8,974 increase, or 4.5%. Under fire and rescue, you have numerous items that are included in fire and rescue. They include, of course, the Line of Duty Act for the various agencies. There's also contributions to the Jarrett Fire Department. There is contribution to MedFlight, the Red Cross, and also a portion of the fire services for the Greensville Volunteer Fire Department. All of these total in the current fiscal year, $243,784, and the request for next year is $271,975, a $28,000 cumulative increase across all of the agencies that you see shown here. The regional jail has not yet turned in their request for the upcoming year. I think they are currently working on their budget. They have not yet given us any idea about what the county's portion will be. Just as an estimation, I have included $850,000 that is subject to change as we move through this process. Under juvenile probation, we have $67,750 budgeted currently, and a like amount is requested for FY22. Building inspections, $180,662 is currently budgeted. A request of $192,809 has been submitted for FY22. That's a $12,147 increase or 6.7%. Under animal control, we have a current amount of $140,187 budgeted. The request for the upcoming fiscal year is for $154,010, or $13,823 increase, which is about 9.8%. Under emergency management, $100,908 is the current budgeted amount, and for FY22, the amount requested is $59,564, or about a 40% decrease. Under highways and street lighting, we have $32,820 budgeted, a like amount is being requested in the upcoming year. Collection sites, $440,595 makes up the current year's budget. The request is for $451,665, or an $11,070 increase, which equates to 2.5%. Refuse collection, which is a service contract, we have $12,500 budgeted. It's been determined that only $11,500 will be needed in the upcoming year. Under refuse disposal, these are the payments the county makes to the Solid Waste Enterprise Fund for all of the debris from county residents. We have $200,000 budgeted currently. In FY22, the request is for $193,053, which is about a 3.4% decrease. Under buildings and grounds, this is the courthouse. $833,361 is currently budgeted. The request is for $857,199. This is a $23,000 increase. It's about 2.8% of the budget. Under Greensville County Government Building, the amount currently budgeted is $422,188. The request is for $445,507, a $23,319 increase, which equals 5.5%. One item of note is that all of the information included in buildings and grounds for the courthouse and also for the government building, if there are items that are used in both places that have been requested for capital outlay, we do split those 75-25%. Employees are paid the same way unless they only work in one area. Those girls and ladies and gentlemen that only work at the courthouse show up under the courthouse, and those that only work at the government center show only under the government center. Moving on to the health department, we did not receive a request this year from the health department, as we did not last year. I have put in a like amount of $97,410 as a placeholder. Hopefully we will hear from the health department. We have one additional request there, and that is for the replacement of the columns on the front of the building. They are on either side of the front door. The estimate for that replacement is $5,000, so that increases their overall budget to $102,410 for FY22. Under mental health and retardation, we have the donation or contribution to Chapter 10. This amount is $60,263, the very same amount that we budgeted in the current fiscal year. Social Services has requested an increase in their funding. Their current adopted budget is $436,143. Their request is for $444,703, a slight increase of $8,560, or about 1.9%. The Area Agency on Aging has requested a $3,000 increase over last year. Their request is for $8,000 in FY22. Comprehensive Services, they have a current FY21 budgeted amount of $191,820. A like amount is requested for FY22. Under local contributions, we have a number of items that show here. Some of these are education related, others are not. So I'm going to go through those one by one. We have Southside Virginia Community College. The request this year is for $5,448. In the current year, they are budgeted $4,957. We have received a request for personnel contribution costs this year. That is something that we paid as a one-time amount last year. Head Start at $33,000 in the current year, and they have requested a like amount of $33,000 in the upcoming year. The Workforce Development Center, $97,665 is the current budgeted amount, and $102,124 is the amount requested for the next fiscal year. Most of that is due to the fact that the community college is no longer, of course, providing the utility payments, which helps offset the expenditures on this side, so they have to be taken out to localities, the city and the county. Eagle Scholarship remains level at $10,000. Southside Ram of Virginia, $2,000 is the amount that was budgeted last year, and a like amount is requested this year.
Does that need to be put in there if that's been canceled?
Well, they did, they canceled it last year. You all decided to give them the money, that's your choice. Virginia Legal Aid has requested $5,081. They have no prior history with the county, but this new request does show up in this department. Transportation, our local share this year, as you can see, has decreased. We had a share of $10,594 last year. Our proportion this year is $8,100. At this point, it's appropriate to tell you that we have an agreement that you may not be aware of with the city of Emporia, and that ridership plays a big part in how the costs for transportation are actually shared between the city and the county. For the first 3 years of operation, the Greensville Emporia Transit System operated on a 50-50 share. This year, it is based solely on ridership, and the city picks up more than half of our ridership. So their share went up to about $13,000 this year, where ours dropped to, $32,000, and ours dropped to $8,100. Greensville County Water and Sewer Authority, the hydrant fees that show here is a $600,000 contribution. It's the same as in the current fiscal year. We also have a contribution for the authority and the Skipper's Wastewater Treatment Plant, $146,912. You move down to the truck driving training school. The lease on that building and facility is $4,800. This is paid to the Airport Commission. The Greensville County Training School, we have $15,000 currently. And the next upcoming fiscal year, they have requested $20,000. That covers all of the contributions in that department. Parks and Recreation follows. The Emporia Greensville Rec Association was budgeted $41,000 in the current fiscal year. They have requested $51,000 in the upcoming fiscal year. Jail Rec Association did not submit a request this year for funding. The CYC requested $10,639, and that's the same amount we paid in currently, and that amount has been in Washington Park Center. We had $5,000 in the current budget just for routine maintenance items that need to be done on the building to make it habitable, and we need to keep monies in there should repairs become necessary, so another $5,000 is recommended in the upcoming year. The YMCA had $30,000 in the current year, and they have requested a like amount in FY22. Following that department is the Golden Leaf Commons. Their current budget amount is $117,848. The request for the upcoming year is $111,359. That's a slight decrease of $6,489, or about 5.5%. The Meharry River Arts Council. As you recall, the Meharry River Arts Council was a benefactor of a state grant. We actually get from the state $4,500. We match that with a contribution of $5,500 to maintain the $10,000 level that we have always given to the Arts Council. Library, their current budgeted amount is $142,610. Their request is for $153,064. That's an increase of $10,454. And that's about a 7.3% increase. Planning. Budgeted amount is $207,713. The request for the upcoming year is $298,594. That's a $90,000 increase, about 43%. As you can see, the biggest part of that, of course, is in the comprehensive update. We have $75,000 budgeted that we did not include in the current year. Housing follows that. We have an adopted budget this year of $57,609. The request for the upcoming year is $37,313. There is nothing for the Maymac, no Iredale Road. Those are projects that we have completed, and you move down to economic development. We have a current budget of $572,009. The request for next year is $572,073, a very small increase. GIS is the next department that shows a current budget of $70,494. The request is for $86,185. That's about a $15,000 increase. As you see, the biggest part of that is for our capital outlay line item, a permanent that is needed in the amount of $10,341. Environmental management, we have one line item there, the Soil and Water Conservation Board. Current year, we show an amount of $7,415 budgeted. A like amount is being requested for FY22. Under BPI, we have a total of $83,348. The request for the upcoming year is $83,627, a very small increase there. We move down, we also have the transfer to the school fund. The amount that has been entered is just the figure based on the current methodology. It's a placeholder until the agreement is in place and we know exactly what the county share will be. That amount will have to be adjusted as time moves on. It is, like I say, a placeholder. This is a fluid document. Things do change as you move along. There are numbers here that will change once recommendations are made. Once you have met with departments, there will be questions, I'm sure, to some of these department heads that will need to be put into place also. We have, of course, a transfer to local capital projects, and we will get to capital projects in just a few minutes. That amount is based on what is actually paid out of the general fund each year for projects. We have a breakdown for you too on whether they're bond funds, local monies, or a share from the city of Emporia for particular projects. Very last department in your fund one here are your debt payments. All of your debt service payments show there. We currently budgeted $1,444,360. We have for the upcoming year a request of $1,544,740. We'll move on to following Fund 1. We have Fund 8 that immediately follows the report. Fund 8 is the transportation system. This is a budget that has to be submitted to the RPT by February, the 1st of February every year. We do not receive approval on that from them until June, but we move forward with a proposed budget in place, and if it has to be amended based on their approval after July 1, we take care of that through budget amendment resolutions. You can see that currently we had a budget of $155,074. The request for the upcoming year is $160,805. If you recall, the Greensville County share of that 160 is only $8,100. Immediately following the expenditure report, there you have a breakdown that shows you where the funds come from for the transit system. If you would like me to go through these one by one, I will tell you that there is a calculation, a percentage calculation to determine the state and the federal share. That leaves the county's local share on the cities to make up the difference that is needed. We do receive some funds from the Department of Social Services, and you see those are listed there also. But other than that, there are none of other sources of outside funding for the transit system. Moving on to Fund 10, we have the Greensville Fire Department. Current budget for the year is $342,479. We have requested for the upcoming year $329,830. All expenses for the fire department are shared between the city and the county. This contract that governs the sharing of this expenditure, and that agreement is based on usage. There is a per call charge that we bill for. We do estimates at the first of the year, and then we do a reconciliation at the end of the year. As you see, immediately following the Fund 10 expenditures, there are Fund 10 revenues there, and they are solely comprised of revenue from the city and from the county. The very last fund shown in the book is Fund 17. This is the Solid Waste Enterprise Fund. This, of course, is an enterprise fund that governs the landfill. You have a total budget for the current year of $973,233. The request for operating expenditures in the upcoming year is $951,370. We also have reserve accounts, which are required, of course, by DEQ, foreclosure and post-closure. I'm sure you are all familiar with those. We also include a reserve account for new equipment, as the equipment out there is very expensive when it has to be replaced, so it's always recommended to have a reserve account to offset those fees. A total budget of $1,182,927 is proposed for the landfill. The revenues immediately following that show you exactly where those monies are coming from. You have the contribution, you can call it out, or charges for the County of Greensville in the amount of $193,053. We also have charges proposed for the city of Victoria based on their past experience of $190,356. There's institutional waste of $100,999. And then we have a proposed amount for the industries that also take their debris to the landfill in the amount of $196,875. Commercial waste comprises a large part of the waste taken to the landfill, and that amount is projected to be $500,144. There's a small amount for just city residents that take odd things directly to the landfill, but they are available in the amount of $1,500. That total $1,182,927,000. Your Fund 8, your Fund 10, and your Fund 17 are all balanced budgets at this point based on the request. Of course, these are all still up for discussion. There are individual line items here that have been noted in your supplemental notes in your book. There's documentation from the department heads justifying the request for capital outlay line items and also for new personnel costs. My plan was to review this with all of you all today, give you a heads up and let you know where we are at this point, but also to let you know that hopefully our next budget meeting will be set up appointments, so that you all can meet with all the department heads. And I think our following meeting, I would actually say that we would do meetings with the community organizations and outside agencies. So we will be making those appointments. If you will not object to that planning process, that way you can go over each of these in detail, have time to review the notes, compare them to their request. In the meantime, of course, staff goes back and will be making recommendations also based on what we see in the notes and then the projections on each of the line items. Hopefully we will be able to balance on one. There is one huge outstanding item that has not been taken into consideration, of course, and that is the capital plan for schools. Supposedly a meeting is going to be scheduled so that the budget can be presented to the city council and to the board of supervisors. You all will then have the opportunity to question anything in that budget that you would like, ask questions about the capital. They of course have lots of large capital items. We have included that list for you in the packet that you have received today lying on your desk. All of that capital information is in this document right here, and we'll go over a little bit about it if you would like. I have included for you, first of all, you will go to probably the third page in the document. It's a sheet that says CIP request received. What you have there is just a spreadsheet showing every request that was received. There was a description of the project, and there's also a total cost associated with that project. We have listed them there for you, but of course we have taken this one step further. And the first two sheets show you, of course, what we have done. Staff has worked to see which projects were actually requested for FY22, and if you're apparent that most department heads wait to the last minute, they want everything in one year. That's not always possible. We try to do our best to accommodate them, of course, but that this too contributes to balancing Fund 1 in your budget. Capital plays such an important part of the counties and also on the school systems. But you will see that we have laid out a 5-year plan there for you, and that's 22, 23, 24, 25. At this point, no one would have been happy to have pushed into 26. We have 26 as part of the plan, but there are no projects right now in FY26. Full review of those proposed in the upcoming fiscal year. If you will look at that long sheet, I have listed there the items of note, and the first is the maintenance total shed. It's cost of $50,000. The next item is the replacement of the storefront at the Phoenix building. This is where the Commonwealth Attorney is located. The front of that building, of course, is wood, and due to water damage, it is deteriorating in really fast fashion, and the buildings and ground supervisor told me that it does need attention. The approximate cost for that is going to be about $100,000. And of course, we do share with the city of Newport. Below that, we have the repainting of the courthouse and also the clerk's office. We also have at the courthouse the replacement of the columns. We have replacement of the flat roof. We have repairs to the brickwork, and the courthouse expansion project is in here also. You see that those items are rather large ticket items, but they're things that all need attention sooner rather than later. Below that, the economic development request incorporates two major projects. One is a shell building in the amount of $4 million, and the second is the natural gas line in the amount of $7 million. You can see that they both have been pushed out to FY23 and FY24. There's planning that has to take place with both of those, but you need to be aware of them and start the process, so you will be ready to actually expend the funds at the proper time. Immediately following that, we have the bipolar ionization air purifier and cleaning system that needs to be installed in this building, and that cost attached to that project is $52,086. We have the same type of air cleaning system for the government building at a cost of $57,082. We had one submission by planning this year. That was the Liberty Road extension. The total project is estimated to cost $1.8 million. But before the project can start, of course, you will need to do the proper work to lay the groundwork for that. And that means, of course, that the environmental PER will have to be done in the next year before we can even begin to think about construction of that Liberty Road extension. The cost of the road itself right now, in today's dollars, is $1.7 million. We have a request to replace 2 trucks for solid waste collections. The first is the boom truck at a cost of $145,000. That seems to be the priority. And then also the roll-up truck needs to be replaced. That is shown in FY23. We have 2 fire trucks that have been on our CIP list for a number of years. First is the brush truck at a cost of $250,000. That is right now placed in FY24. And the replacement of engine number 33 has been placed in FY25. We will be receiving, of course, a brand new ladder truck somewhere in the fall at the end of this year. That was something we all approved last year. We did get the city's approval as far as receiving their portion of that project. So if you look at the next sheet, which says FY22 impact on budget, this is an explanation of all those projects that staff has recommended by FY22, and it shows you the source of funding. So the pole bill, the pole share that is being requested for the maintenance shop, and that is for the storage of equipment. If you see there, it gives you that under the description of the project, it gives you justifications to why the pole share is needed. But that $50,000 staff has placed under the column which reads county share. That means that it will actually come from the county's general fund. The next item, the replacement of the storefront at the Phoenix building. That's a $100,000 expense, but as I mentioned before, that's a cost that is shared with the city. So the county pays $67,380 of that. The city share is $32,620. The repainting of the clerk's office is $50,000. In consideration of the fact that the courthouse expansion project should be kicked off in the next year or so, it was determined that the best thing to do was to incorporate some of the requests for capital items at the courthouse along with the expansion and roll those into the bond proceeds. So the $50,000 for the painting of the courthouse and the clerk's office, along with the repairs of the brickwork, which shows a little further down, with a $37,000 price tag, are 2 of the items that would probably be rolled into the bond fund, so that while we're working on the courthouse, we can go ahead and bring everything up to grade and have it all look fresh and new. It's not a good thing to add on to something, have an old part so evident, and have the new part stand out like a glaring silicone, but it would surely show up how badly the rest of the building needs maintenance. So they are under bond proceeds. You see those 3 items, the $50,000 for the repainting of the courthouse, $37,000 for the brickwork, and then of course the courthouse expansion itself. The remaining items there are the replacement of the columns at the courthouse. That is an expense that's shared with the city. The $150,000 price tag is split, $88,000 for the county and $61,000 for the city. We also have the replacement of the roof, a total cost of $65,000 actually allocates out to be $38,149 for the county and $26,852 for the city share. If you go beyond that, the bipolar ionization cleaning systems are both shown there. They will be a general fund expenditure. The planning portion of the Liberty Road extension and the cost associated with the engineering report at $18,000 is all needed in the next fiscal year. And that $18,000 will also come from the general fund. The solid waste collections boom truck, which is the priority of $145,000, is shown as a general fund expenditure also. So what you have here are total projects in the amount of $2,899,218. You have bond proceeds, which will account for $2,262,050, a general fund transfer of $515,732, and a city share of $121,437. While we're still talking about these capital projects, let me know that any debt service that is incurred for the project surrounding the courthouse by which the county will borrow these bond monies, the city will also pay a share of those. Are there any questions regarding the capital projects that are presented? You have been given the entire packet. Every request is attached for your review. The justification is received by the department head. You can look those over, note your questions, and we will hopefully have those coming soon. There is one determining factor though in the CIP that has not been incorporated, of course, in the section before, that is schools. Until a decision is made on the school CIP projects, you will not have anything showing in this budget to account for those. You have been given the information. The requests are included, yes, behind the reports that I've just reviewed for you. You have all the requests that were received from the schools. A lot of the capital requests, they took care of with CARES money. They have gotten an allocation from CARES and they had to actually, they went through, designated the use of those funds for some capital projects that they had requested. So that reduced their amounts to Greensville County. But you probably want to familiarize yourself with these projects. You will be hearing more about them from Dr. Evans and her staff when they review the budget with you. And this is something that you're going to have to think about because it's such a large part of our budget. Without having this number, it's going to be hard for us to proceed and balance this budget for you all. Are there any questions regarding the information I've shared with you? No?
Okay, one.
Yes, sir.
With the HVAC and repair of the school, we was gonna get that done, right?
The HVAC?
Yeah, HVAC, the window,
Well, that was part of the Honeywell study, but they did not move forward with the Honeywell study. What they have done, they have taken those HVACs and they have used CARES funding to buy new units for the high school.
repairs on it.
CARES funding.
Okay.
Mhm. That's one of the items that is definitely not on this list anymore. If you all would like to, we can briefly review the revenues for Fund 1. You have that information, I think, also in your booklet there. We can go over those. That is the actual first report in your binder, your big book. You do these too early in the year, you don't have a really good handle on what we actually don't collect. So these are estimates at this point. They will probably be adjusted to as we go further into the year and we can tell more about what our collections are going to be. But we will go through these. You see at the very first item that's listed on revenue, of course, is real estate tax. We had budgeted for the current year $3,600,000. As you can tell by your report, collected to date has been $4,009,516. The recommendation for next year, and these are conservative, is $3,900,000. We also have public service corporation taxes. The current budgeted amount was $6,300,000. We received $7,082,913. That was a pleasant surprise. The estimate of the upcoming year is $6.5 million. Personal property taxes. We had budgeted for the current fiscal year $1,828,623. We have estimated $1.9 million for the upcoming year. Now, as you see on this, there are some prior years that show up, but that's a nominal, not very nominal amount. We usually just budget for the current year. Collections sometimes from past years will take us over what we budgeted. Sometimes they make up the part of the funds that we have budgeted. You never know how people are going to end up paying those. Considering the fact that we've had a pandemic in the last year And the economy has been what it is. I was very pleased to see the numbers on both personal property and real estate. I really had anticipated some reductions in collections, and it was a pleasant surprise to see that we really did not take that bill. You have machinery and tools budgeted at $837,900. We actually collected through March $932,396. The estimate at this point for the next year is $900,000. That leaves us a little bit in play if we decide that this number is still going up, we may go back and adjust that later. Penalty and interest. This is a game. Who knows what interest may be like, how much interest we may actually collect. I have based these estimates on the fact that we have actually collected what we anticipated in both real estate and personal property. Now, anything after December 5th, does accrue interest and there is a penalty. So that's helped contribute to the numbers that you see here. Being on the conservative side, the projection is $495,000, and that is, of course, the penalty, interest, and the administrative fee combined. Total claims tax, $31,500 was budgeted. We projected $30,000 for the upcoming year. We also have a motor carrier's tax. It's a very low number. $2,700 was budgeted for the current year. We did collect $4,500, so we have upped that based on the last 2 years' experience of collections to $4,000 in the upcoming year. Local sales and use tax. We have $500,000 budgeted. As you can see, there's been a steady decline since FY18, and all of you know why that is. And it dropped off tremendously in 20. By 50% in them. In the past years, before 17, we actually, before 16, we actually had collected around $500,000 a year. That seemed to have been the level on which our sales tax came back to us. We are projecting for the upcoming year $550,000. Consumer utility taxes, there are various taxes here showing. There's some from, of course, the authority, the Columbia Gas, Mecklenburg, and Dominion. They stay pretty steady. You can see the history there. The current year total of all of those, along with the consumption tax, was $324,000, and the recommendation for the upcoming year is $322,900. BPO taxes. We had budgeted $369,000 for the current year, and we were pleasantly surprised to see we surpassed that. We collected through March $530,000. The projection for next year is $450,000. Motor vehicle licenses, we were budgeted at $175,500. We have collected a little bit more than that this year, so the projection for the upcoming year is $180,000. We have taxes on recreation and wills. This is a combination of various things, a grantee tax, tax on wills, and also court-appointed attorney fees. They're very minor, but about $27,500 is what we come in around each and every year. So the amount is being projected for 22. Transient lodging tax. We expected that to drop, but it did not, thank goodness. We had budgeted $48,600. We've so far this year collected $62,009. Our projection for next year is $60,000 at this point in time. Meals tax was budgeted at $225,000. We have decreased that slightly for the upcoming year to $200,000. Telephone service taxes, this is the 911 wellness board, the dispatching fees. They stay right around $39,000 a year. We also have the communication sales and use tax. We have $148,500 budgeted currently. We may not make quite that much this year, so we have projected $145,000 for next year. That gives that entire department a total of $173,700 for the FY22 fiscal year. Dog licenses seem to be falling a bit. We've only budgeted $3,000 for the upcoming year. You get 2 permits and other licenses. This is a combination of a lot of little things. from building permits, which is the largest category, of course, in this health department. We do have another one which brings in some money, the stormwater management permits, but that's an in and an out. We collect it, we turn around, and we actually pay that out. So the projection for next year is $35,000. Fines and forfeitures. Of course, I'll say it again, we've been in the midst of the pandemic for the last year. There's not been a lot of traveling, and as you know, most of the fines and forfeitures that funds that we bring in are from speeders that were ticketed on that has fallen off a bit. It looks like it may come in slightly lower this year. We are, after talks with the sheriff, he assures me that they should be back on track hopefully by the summer. We're projecting $1.3 million alone for that. You also have attached two fines and forfeitures, of course, things such as the courthouse maintenance fees, courthouse security fund. Those are all fees that are attached to each and every citation that is written by the deputies. And we also have interest, which is collected. So the other larger category in there, of course, is for e-summons fees. These are monies that we are collecting. They seem to be a really good steady stream of revenue for us. Total for the department in the current fiscal year is $1,346,850. We're projecting $1,563,500 for the upcoming year. Interest earned from bank accounts. As everyone knows, interest rates are low and they may continue to fall, they may not pick back up. It's hard to tell what may happen. We have budgeted $35,000 for the current year. We are projecting $20,000 for the upcoming fiscal year. Revenue from the use of property is broken down here by the various buildings that we receive lease payments or rent payments on. I will not go through each and every one of those. I will tell you that the current year we have adopted budget of $655,610. The projection for next fiscal year is $611,274. Moving below that, we have charges for services. These are various things from administrative fees to data processing fees from the various agencies that we deal with. The current year is $193,637 budgeted. We anticipate $183,870 in the upcoming year. Directly below that are your court costs. These are various fees and that are collected and turned over to the county. The current year we have a $5,917 budgeted amount, and the upcoming year we're projecting $7,217. We have Greensville and Emporia, Department of Social Services, the cost allocation payment. This is a payment that comes through DSS from the state and is given directly to the county. We had budgeted $43,000 for that. We actually received $59,433 this year. The anticipated payment for next year is $45,000. Below that, we have the DSS cost share agreement. There was an agreement that was put into place a number of years ago between the city, the county, and DSS, and the county was to receive their refund of $50,000 a year for a set number of years. That ended in the current fiscal year. We will not be receiving that $50,000. They have paid their fees in full. We have the Greensville County Water and Sewer Authority cost allocation. That's set at $50,000 a year, and it will stay at $50,000 for the upcoming year. There are some small charges that we collect for these other things, such as the animal control fees. They're very nominal, as you can tell, less than $100 has been collected this year. We're not budgeting anything for those. The charges for the health department telephone reimbursement is an in and out. We don't budget for it. We get that money. We pay that bill. They reimburse us for their telephone services. So we do not budget for that. Never know what it's going to be. It's a small thing. Recyclables are the same way. We also have under miscellaneous, one line item that we call other miscellaneous, just from expected payments that may revenues that may come in through the treasurer's office that were not anticipated. They're usually not large at all. 10,000 is all we budget for that. As you can see, we had a $14,000 refund that was listed further down. I'm not sure why the treasurer put that there, and I have not found out what exactly that was for yet, but we are going to budget only 10,000 for the upcoming year. Under other recovered costs, there's a long list of items here. Most of these, of course, are incorporating the shared services with the city of Greensville. There are things from, of course, circuit court, VPI, law enforcement, the magistrate, health department, the library. There's also charges for the school resource officer, the share that we all pay together. We have the Commonwealth attorney. I will not read each and every one of these to you. These are based solely on the expenditures that we incur and the contract that is in place that dictates what percentage that the city owes back to us. They are all detailed out there. If you have questions about any particular one, I'll surely try to answer that, but if not, we'll move on. We have payment in lieu of taxes. This is usually from game and inland fisheries. We receive a payment each year that totals somewhere around 14,000. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less. Normally what we do is budget what we receive the year before. We have nothing to base that on. It's a calculation that is run actually by the auditors each year, and we bill them for that amount. Below that, we have the non-categorical aid, which is received from the state of the county. That includes things such as mobile home titling taxes, estate recordation taxes, rolling stock tax. And then the biggest, of course, in the group is our personal property tax relief. This is the $1,065,419 that we have received each and every year since Mr. Gilmore decided to do away with personal property tax, and then of course it came back. This amount will continue to show until the state decides to enroll it to us. Following that, you have the share of the expenses. We have, of course, the Commonwealth attorney at the bottom of that page, the sheriff, the commissioner of revenue, the treasurer, the registrar, and the clerk's office. These are the amounts that are received directly from the comptroller for support of those offices. It is by no means the entire no means reimburses the county for the entire expense for those offices, but it does help defray the cost. You can see they're both broken down there. The comp board estimates just came in last week. They will probably be adjusted again. As you can tell, even from looking at the FY21 budget, they were taken high last year, and I do not think we will receive everything that we budgeted based on what the comp board indicates to us they are going to reimburse us, but that's the only thing we have to base this on, their estimates. So that's what is used in that department request column. As I mentioned before, excuse me, at the very bottom of that page, you have the local government challenge grant. That is the grant I mentioned when we talked about in the prior year for Arts Council. The $4,500 comes from the state. The $5,500 is a local contribution to the organization. We do have jewelry reimbursement from the state that is almost at the very end of your report. It can be anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a year. Of course, since we had no jury trials to speak of hardly, we got no reimbursement this year. That brings you to the bottom line. We have revenues that total, or that are projected, at $22,676,264. Other questions regarding the revenues? No? Well, if not, I'll let you go home and we'll start making appointments for your next meeting, which is scheduled for next Monday. You all approve the calendar on Monday, but I don't know if you all are going to vary that, move that, alter it in any way, but before we start making appointments and things, we kind of need to have some hard dates for meetings in hand. I just need a time for the meeting.
Like Monday?
Yes, sir. Your closed session starts at 5. I'm sorry,
That's
no, it's
April.
not next Monday, we have 5 Mondays this month,
April 5th.
Fifth.
April 5th, yes. I forgot about the 5th week.
So how much time we need?
Well, normally when we make appointments about 10 minutes apart, except for some of the larger departments such as the sheriff's department. We'll give him 15 minutes. We can fit in, you can figure 10 minutes apart. You need a break somewhere in there. I know it gets tiring to sit here for longer than a couple of hours. If you want to start at 2, we could do, a couple hours or an hour and a half of appointments, take a break, and then come back and finish up.
We got that?
You're gonna bring everybody in?
We're gonna get as many as we can that day and roll the others into the next appointed day that you want to decide on.
So are we doing next Monday or?
April
April
5th,
5th.
I'm sorry, not next Monday.
Okay.
I forgot there was a 5th Monday, it was split month.
Yeah, I don't see the point of bringing everybody in. I mean, if we're not having significant increases, why are we gonna question?
We can split it up. We can split it up.
Well, if you all have looked at it and you're happy with it, then that's fine. We will begin work on trying to get this balanced and see how far we can get. That's up to you all.
Most likely.
I'm sure the Constitution always doing the 24th.
So you don't, we can say it.
But I think anybody has really large increases.
Okay.
I think anybody that has large increases.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But they get the same amount of money for when you get that money.
Yeah, I think we need to separate the ones that had significant increase.
Right.
And just bring those in. Like Mr. Kane said, if we're gonna level fund or somewhere close, other than just general cost of living, I don't see any need to bring them in.
Okay, we'll go back to it and take a look at it.
So we're-
Let us take a look at it, determine how many appointments we need, and then tell you what kind of time frame we need.
So that would be,
Will that work?
that would still be on the 5th.
But what time?
Let me
You
determine.
let us know.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, we can do that. All righty, I'll let you go back to them, unless you have further questions.
You just adjourn to the 5th?
You should. Why don't you go ahead and say 3?
3 o'clock?
Why don't you say 3? I think that we could probably keep these narrowed down to 2 hours before
Okay.
your closed session.
Can I get a move that we adjourn to 3 o'clock on April 5th?
So moved.
The move in second, all in favor, we move to the 5th, 3 o'clock, roll call vote.
Ms. A. Sharp, Mr. Brown, Mr. Kane, Mr. Conrad.
What's wrong?
On the 5th,
The 5th, you got something to do?
yes, you may have something to do with yes, Mr. Kane, I'm sorry. Senator Kane is going to stand on the 5th.
Okay.
And he has asked to meet with some local officials while he is here,
What time?
but I'm still waiting on final confirmation from his office.
Okay.
I have not got it.
So we can change that, right?
All right, would you like to do it next Monday, which is the 29th? I think we can get the appointment set by then.
That's 3 o'clock?
I'm okay with that. 3 o'clock next Monday,
Okay.
29th.
Okay,
Will that work for you,
Can
Ms.
we change that?
March 29th at 3 p.m.
Okay, so
We need to go back and do our.
rescind, can I get a move that we rescind the last date?
I'm so moved.
Move in second, roll call vote.
So, second. We did.
Anybody second?
Okay. Ms. A. Sharp, Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Kane, Mr. Conrad.
Aye.
Can I get a move that we, adjourn to next Monday, which is the
29th.
29th at 3 o'clock?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, roll call vote?
Ms. A. Sharp,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Kane, Mr. Conrad.
Thank you.